This is Steve Ridgel, and I want to tell you about something I learned from my friend Al. I periodically do this on this channel, just take one of my friends who's really taught me a good spiritual lesson and share it. Now, I love Al for a lot of reasons, partly because he's got a great Jesus story in his life, but also because of what Al reminded me of. Al's got a good friend, George, who runs a donut shop in Abilene, Texas, the AM Donut Place over on Grape Street. They also have really good, I think it's Cambodian food. Al takes me over there once in a while at night, and it's pretty good food. I like it. And George always gives us a donut for dessert, so even better on the weekends when he does the supper. But George got sick. He's been in the hospital, and he's been almost a month now and ill, seriously ill. And his family's trying to keep the little donut shop restaurant going, and it's hard. And so somebody set up a GoFundMe page and they're getting some money, and that's great. And Al immediately called me and had me start praying for George, and we've shared that with other people, and there are a lot of people praying, and that's great. Prayer is powerful, and boy, the GoFundMe's important. They can use all of those, but Al just mentioned something he was doing in passing that really led to a discussion about, well, prayer and giving and actually pitching in and helping out. Al said something about being tired, and when talking about wise, he's been getting up at 3 o'clock every morning and going down to the donut shop and washing the dishes. He said that's something he can do for them. Prayer is really important, but that's not a hard thing to do. We pray a lot at our house, and it was easy to add George to our prayer list. Even sharing the GoFundMe, some of us have been blessed and we share that money, but I was really struck by Al actually did something, rolled up his sleeves and is doing something. And it struck me that as Christians, a lot of times we don't do the hard thing. We may pray, we may give, but I don't know that we very much pitch in and help. And it made me go back and read the story of the Good Samaritan, where Jesus is talking about loving your neighbors yourself, and that's the illustration. The man who stopped and cleaned up his wounds and put him on his animal and took him into the city. Yes, he basically paid for his care and put the rest on his tab, but he did something. And I think we sometimes as Christians don't really pitch in and do like we used to, like we probably ought to. Now, I'll tell you something else that really impressed me about Al. Al walks down to wash those dishes. Now, it's only about a quarter of a mile, a couple of blocks maybe, but he does that. And the reason he does that, Al's legally blind. Now, he's got peripheral vision, and really, he couldn't cook in that restaurant, and he would have trouble maybe doing some things, but he's told me, he said, I can wash their dishes. And he does that for them. One of my things I want to do this year, and maybe you will too, we're going to do more of the mowing the yard, more of the let's wash the dishes, more of the we're cooking your meal, we're bringing you your meal, more of the roll up your sleeves, get your hands dirty, get in people's lives and actually help them, actually doing what they need. I know a lot of Christians do that. I know mechanics who help people fix cars on the side for free because they're in need or they want to do something as a ministry. I know there are a lot of people that do that, but I'm telling you, that's one of the things that we Christians ought to jump in and do more of. So, Al, thank you for reminding me that prayer is important, giving's important, and even more, so is actually getting in and working to love my neighbor.